the Gologa chart, right? The vertical planetary system, the different planetary system, the 14 planetary system in the universe, right? In the second session, we started discussing about Jambudweep, the different divisions, other islands also, and within a third time we discussed about the divisions within the Jambudweep. Then yesterday we discussed about the sun and the motion, right? The orbits of the sun, and how also the moon. We saw also how day and night is caused actually because of the sun's movement around its orbit. We also saw how the moon's phases are happening. We also saw how eclipses are caused, right? So this much we have discussed yesterday. One second. Hare Krishna. Just wondering where the sound is coming from. Somehow I think this video automatically started. Okay. So today actually we are going to discuss about the remaining planets actually. See, we saw how the sun's orbit actually, right? So we'll discuss about which are the different other planets and their positions and what is mentioned about these planets in Srimad Bhagavatam. So some brief information. I think there is no detailed information about them. Okay. So we saw that the sun is vertically situated. Okay, just one second. I just want to check. Yeah, Vijay Prabhu is recording. Okay, so sun is situated in the middle, vertically in the middle of the universe, kind of. That is the position of sun, and so above Bhumandala, right? So the remaining planets actually, see the topmost planet, in this planetary system, actually, which are the luminaries, is actually Saturn. Okay, the Saturn is situated 1.4 million years, sorry, yojanas above the sun. Okay, so the second column is the relative distance from the sun, and this is the delta height is the distance between the two planets. For example, if it is 2.2 million yojanas, 2 lakh yojanas is between Saturn and Jupiter. That is the distance, and from the sun, it is situated at 1.4 million yojanas. Okay, so here actually some information about Saturn is given, like how much time it takes through pass through each zodiac. So there are 12 signs in the zodiac. So it takes actually 30 months. Saturn is a slow moving planet, so it takes 30 months to cover actually one of the zodiac. So total all the 12 it will take around 30 years. Okay, so 30 solar years it actually takes to cover the entire motion around the sun. So if you look at our what you call horoscopes and all, we can see that once the Shani Dasha starts, it actually runs for that much period in our horoscope. Then next actually is Jupiter. Below Saturn is Jupiter, which actually is situated at a height of 1.2 million yojanas from Sun. Okay, and for each sign it takes 1 year, and total 12 years actually to complete the entire orbit. Okay. Next, actually below Jupiter is Mars. It is situated at 1 million yojanas. 1 million yojanas about the Sun. It actually takes the entire one revolution it takes 1.5 years. So some of them actually is considered as auspicious and inauspicious. So Saturn actually it is mentioned that it is not very auspicious in general. Then Jupiter actually is considered as very favorable. Okay, it is connected to like Guru, right? They call it Guru, right? Like intelligence, education, etc. Then Mars is considered as inauspicious. Then we reached. Then next is Buddha or Mercury. So it is situated about zero point 0.8 million yojanas above Sun. It is actually, it is mentioned that it is moves the same speed as Sun. So 1 year actually it completes one revolution around. Okay, and then it is mentioned that it's considered as favorable for people are generally causing rain. Its movements are removing evil influence and of other planets which are obstacles today. So yeah, Mercury is generally considered as 1 second, sorry. Mercury 1 year I mentioned, right? Yeah. So Mercury is considered as when it moves away from the sun, that produces fearful situation. with drought, cyclone, and continual clouds. So that is about Mercury. Next is actually Shukra or Venus. Okay, so it moves. This actually Mercury and Moon both actually. Sorry, Mercury and Venus both actually moves in the same speed. It both takes 1 year to complete. It is always considered as favorable. Venus, etc. Okay. So these are the main planets actually mentioned. Then after that, actually it talks about the constellation, the 26 nakshatras. Okay, so they actually are considered to be in the same plane and situated about 0.4 million yojanas above the sun. Okay, then actually we have moon and sun, which we saw yesterday. So moon actually is 0.1 million yojanas above the sun. So sun actually is considered as a reference here. So like the remaining planets. So the moon passes through one constellation in 30 muhurtas or in 1 day. Okay, so that is how it is mentioned. Yeah, the sun actually we have seen in detail yesterday, right? So this is just a brief description about this planets actually, which are mentioned in Bhagavatam. Then the next thing is about Shishimara planet system, which we already discussed, right? So the constellation actually, the main stars and the luminaries can be considered as the part of the body of a dolphin, which is like this, right? So an inverted dolphin. So this actually it is told that rishis actually etc. They meditate on this form of considering the universal, everything as part of the Supreme Lord's body, the different planets. In that way, they meditate. So with respect to Shishimara, they have mentioned how which is located at what. This I'm not sure whether it's very interesting for us, but we can quickly go. So for example, it says that on the end of this tail is Dhruva Loka, right? On the body of its tail, the planets, the Prajapatis, Agni, Indra, and Dharma. At the base of the tail, so Data, Vidata, planets, some planets are mentioned actually, which actually we are not seen in detail about those planets. Okay, so we are only discussing about the main planets, in this particular thing until now. Okay, like that actually, so different planets are mentioned. Okay, just to so these are the planets located at different part of the imaginary dolphin or Shishimara, which is inverted in this thing. Now, so next I think we will see a complete overview of all the planets, including others which you are not seen, right from Vaikuntha planets, different lokas like Satyaloka. So the entire thing we can walk through in this particular chart, in this particular table. Okay, so the topmost is actually it is mentioned beyond the universe, right? Beyond 260, around 250 million yojanas is the diameter of the universe. So greater than 260 is considered as the beginning of Vaikuntha planets. Okay, so that is the topmost this thing. So we can read that according to Vishnu Purana, the covering of the universe is 250 million from the sun, and the Vaikuntha planets begin at 26.2 million yojanas above Satyaloka. Okay, or 10 million yojanas above the covering of universe. So it is very, very far actually. Then just below the Vaikuntha planets is the impersonal Brahmajyoti part, right? Actually, so this is 260. So this is actually 260 million yojanas from the sun. Okay, so yeah, the delta height is given in the other column. So this is actually the area between the covering of the universe and Vaikuntha planets. This is the area for the liberate. So impersonal people who attain impersonal liberation, actually they remain in this particular area, which is known as the Brahman or Brahmajyoti. Then after that, actually the universal covering starts, the 7 layers. Okay, which is mentioned now: the earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, and Mahatattva. Each covering is 10 times bigger than the previous covering. So starting from the inner this thing, if you go outwards, each of them is 10 times bigger than the previous one. And below the universal covering is again there is some area which is mentioned as free space. So here actually it is mentioned according to Vishnu Purana. This is given that Satyaloka is so much so and so distance. So in this free space above Satyaloka, there is Vishnu Loka, which the seers called Vaikunta. It is neither created nor destroyed. This is Vaikunta created by Lord Vaikunta. So this is not actually the real Vaikunta planet. So this is another place which is within the universe. Okay. So we don't have much information about this area. So it is considered as free space. So what exactly is happening? It is not explained here. But this is not the Vaikunta planet, which is outside the universe. This is within the universe. Okay, and then after that actually is the Satyaloka, the topmost planet actually where Lord Brahma is there. So this is 233.8 point. No, this is the dimension 233.8 million yojanas from the sun. So this is the abode of Lord Brahma. Below Satyaloka is Tapaloka, 113.8 million yojanas from sun. So here actually see this Tapaloka, Janaloka, and Maharloka. It is mentioned that no, all these planets there are sages and rishis, no, are actually residing. Okay, so in Tapaloka, four Kumaras headed by Sanat Kumara resides here. The Loka is fully populated with Siddhas and rishis, and provides abundance of amenities of all kinds. Then Janaloka, abode of great sages and rishis. Sages headed by Bhrigumuni reside here. Then Maharloka, abode of sages and rishis, it is popular siddhas and rishis in large numbers. So basically, there is no more details, much more details about mentioned actually here. But I think in Bhagavatam, in different places and other scriptures, I think there are more information. But at the moment, as per this, what is available here, I think there's no much details mentioned. Okay, but all these planets, Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, and Maharloka, they are actually considered as relatively permanent abode. Okay, so when during the night of Brahma, these planets are not destroyed actually. Only whatever is below Maharloka onwards, no, that is destroyed. But what is above these planets are not destroyed at all. They are always there. Okay. Then so from below Maharloka onwards, we consider the till Maharloka to Bhuvarloka. It is considered as the Swargaloka, actually the heavenly planets, starting from Dhruvaloka. Okay, so Dhruvaloka is 3.8 million yojanas. So you can see that no, from Dhruvaloka onward, the distance is very huge actually. See, till Dhruvaloka, the relative delta distance is comparatively very less. It's like 1.3. But from Dhruvaloka onward, the planets are very far apart actually, like 10 million yojanas, 20 million yojanas, like that 120 million yojanas. So below Swargaloka, so Swargaloka is considered from starting from Dhruvaloka, the pole star, right? That we have already seen. The pole star we'll see. The abode of Vishnu. This is the abode of Lord Vishnu. The Kshirodakshai Vishnu is considered to be in this Dhruvaloka. And Dhruva still resides as life source of all living entities who live until the end of the creation. Agni, Indra, Prajapati, Kashyapa, and Dharma all assemble there to offer him honor and respectful obeisances. They circumambulate with him with their right side. So basically, in the clockwise direction from the top when you look. This is established by the Wilhelm Supreme Personality of Godhead. The pole star constantly shines at the central pivot for all the stars and planets. The unsleeping, invisible, most powerful time factor causes these luminaries to revolve around the pole star without cessation. All the planets and hundreds and thousands of stars revolve around the pole star in the respective orbits, some higher and some lower. This is because of Dhruvaloka controlled zodiac rotation. So this actually we have seen yesterday in detail, right? How the pole star is like the hub of the all the luminaries, and when the pole star is rotating, all the luminaries also rotate along with that wheel. Okay, then below the Dhruvaloka is the Saptarishis planet, which is 2.5 million yojanas above Sun. So it is mentioned, no, the Saptarishis, they always think of the well-being of the inhabitants of the universe and circumambulate the Supreme Lord Vishnu, the pole star. Okay, now after, so this is actually the mainly the Swargaloka realm. Okay, what we already saw from Dwarloka and Dhruvaloka and 7 saintly planets. Then after that comes the subterranean heavenly planets. I think this heading is wrong actually. So this is not yet subterranean. Subterranean will start according to me from Atala onwards. Okay. So so below the 7 saintly stars actually is the area known as Bhuvarloka, which actually is the abode of like planet like Rahu and Siddhaloka, Yakshaloka, etc. actually is situated in this realm. This is also known as Antariksha. Okay. So this it is mentioned that Bhuvarloka is also the place of enjoyment for Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishajas, ghosts, and so on. Antariksha extends as far as the wind blows and the clouds float in the sky. So okay, these are some other technical detail. Yeah, so this is the area between the Bhuloka, Bhumandala, and the Swarga. So this intermediate area is known as the Bhuvarloka, where actually this kind of living entities lives. Okay, so we'll see little more detail actually. So one of the planets in this Bhuvarloka is Rahu. So it moves like one of the stars. The presiding deity Rahu or Simhaka is the most abominable of all asuras. So that we know about the pastime of Samudra Manthan, right? When the Mohini Murti appeared and divided the she was distributing the nectar actually to demigods. So Rahu actually disguises as an demigod and comes and sit between moon and sun, right? And then as soon as he drinks, then start drinks the nectar, the devatas will identify him as the asura, and then Vishnu actually kills him. So, but actually because he drank the nectar, he becomes immortal, and then he is actually given this position of this planet called Rahu. Okay, so yeah, so that is what actually is mentioned. Residing Rahu is seen as the most abominable of all asuras, but although he is completely unfit to assume the position of a demigod or planetary deity, he has achieved a position by the grace of Supreme Lord. Okay, then there's some technical details are given actually. Rahu is inimical towards both sun and moon. Therefore, he always tries to cover the sunshine and moonshine on the dark moon day. So this is, we saw that eclipse scenario. When Rahu is coming between the planets, actually the eclipse are caused. It tries to cover moon and sun. Solar and lunar eclipse are happening. Then below that actually is the Siddha Loka. Siddha Loka, Charana Loka and Vidyadhar Loka is mentioned together. Okay, so this is 0.02 million yojanas above sun. And yeah, so it is mentioned that the people in the Siddhas, Charanas and Vidyadharas. So in many places in Bhagavatam we can see that actually they mention about this. They actually assembling in some sacrificial arena, or whenever some glorious activity happening, they actually glorify the Supreme Lord, right? By some of them are like they have some mystic powers. For example, they can. It is told that they can travel from one planet to another without the need of an airplane. Their own bodies. I mean, they can just fly from one planet to another. So this might some, but we don't have very detailed information about them. Okay, then below that actually is Yakshaloka and Rakshasaloka, 0.999 million yojanas. So this is the place for enjoyment for yakshas, rakshasas, pishachas, ghosts, and so on. Okay, so these are the planets of area of the Bhuvarloka. Then below that is the Bhuloka or Burloka. So Burloka and Bhuvarloka, like, they sound little similar, but they are different. Burloka and Bhuvarloka. Okay, so Bhuloka, or it's also known as Bhuloka. So this Bhuloka actually we saw in very detail, right? The Bhumandala, we discuss in great detail about Bhumandala. Okay, so then below Bhumandala is the lower planetary system. Okay, so this is very interesting actually. We can read about that. So we saw that there are 7 planets, right? Ratala, Vitala, Sutala, Taladala, Rasadala, Mahadala, and Padala. So these are known as subterranean planets. Actually, it is considered as below the Bhumandala. Okay, so here actually it is mentioned the Daityas, Danavas, and Nagas, who are householders, always enamored by their wives, children, friends, and society in beautiful houses, gardens, and playgrounds, and having greater wealth, power, bliss, and sense enjoyment than the higher planets, live there in illusion and enjoyment with desires more unimpeded than in Swarga. Okay, so it is mentioned that in Swargaloka, the demigods always have the fear of attack from asuras. But in this lower planetary system, or it's known as Bilaswarga, right? So in Bilaswarga, actually, there is no threat from anybody. Okay, only this it is mentioned somewhere that only threat is from Sudarshan Chakra, it seems. So sometimes when actually there is some atrocities or no things are happening, and it seems that Sudarshan Chakra actually appears there, and then cause destruction of the residents. But otherwise, in general, actually there is no like this uninterrupted sense enjoyment. And because it is subterranean, the sunlight doesn't reach this planet. So because there is no sun, the inhabitant doesn't feel the fear of time. It is mentioned because of the day and night. No, we feel the time passing, right? And then every day, it is told, no, our life is actually what you call stolen by the sun and moon. Every day they steal one day from our life. Because of the sun and moon, we feel the change of day. But here, because there is no sun, it is mentioned that they don't have fear of time because they don't sense the passing away of the time. Okay, so that is what is mentioned in the lower planet. And then it is told, there are beautiful cities, like the lower planets. We can read in these lower planets, there are cities decorated with fine houses of the leaders, which have houses, walls, etc., made of best jewels, and with artificial land areas crowded with couples of pigeons, demons, and nagas. The gardens, surpassing the beauty of heaven, shine with beauty of trees having attractive branches bent down with flowers, and with sweet cries of groups of playing birds with pleasures to the senses and mind. In this planet, there is no fear because there is no divisions of time with day and night. The gems on the head of the best of the great snakes drive away all darkness. So it is mentioned that these planets are, I mean, these areas are illuminated by the gems, different kind of gems which actually sparkle. By taking elixirs and juices made from divine herb, the inhabitants of this planet do not experience anxiety, disease, wrinkles, gray hair, old age, discoloration of body, foul perspiration, fatigue, or lack of pleasure. The effects caused by effect of aging caused by bathing, drinking, and eating. Living comfortably, they do not experience influence of death except from the Sudarshan Chakra, by whose entrance the pregnant wives of the demons all have miscarriages due to fear of its effulgence. So very fascinating information. So anybody wants to go to this Bila Surga? No, it looks very interesting.
Prabhu, who actually will they in the Bila Sarga, will they go with this what is it? There is a Sharira, no? Which Sharira they will go, Prabhu, generally?
So they are mentioning, the people are actually mostly here, different kind of serpents are mentioned, and also this demons kind of people. So Maya Danava is one of the character, which we know from Ramayana, right? Actually, he kidnaps uh, Lakshman, I think, no, and takes him, right, and then Hanuman goes and saves, right. So basically, it is actually kind of demons actually who are residing here, and some of the planet is mentioned that inhabitants are like people like the Nagas, serpentine kind of people. So it is a gross body, Prabhu. See, in Earth we have a gross body, right? So in subtle this Bilasurga also people have gross bodies, which actually
Because I heard like once we die, no, we'll get Athana Sharira. So that
that is
Athana Sharira, where it'll expire, just.
no, this
It'll
is Prabhu
expire in
different.
only Hellish Planet.
Yes, Prabhu. See, when somebody dies, no, they are not going to Bilasurga. They are actually going to Pitrloka, which is we are not yet discussed. Actually, it is further down. And Pitrloka and set of hellish planets are actually below all this seven lower planetary system. So this planetary system which we are discussing is also kind of a Swarga only. It's called Bilasurga. It's a place of enjoyment, Prabhu. So based
Okay,
on the
Prabhu.
karma only, people move around actually to different these planets. Okay, so the other things we will see after some time. But actually, when we read, actually we feel a lot of fascinating places are there in the material universe, right? Even in we saw now, even in other varshas in Jambudip also, there are like Kimpurusha Varsha. There are places actually of a lot of great enjoyment. People who come return from demigod, I mean, from higher planet system, they spend time there. So only Earth planet actually, it looks like there are a lot of problems. But everywhere else actually there is a lot of scope of. But ultimately it all depends actually. See, the whole idea of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, understanding scriptures is actually to finish the business, right? Like Prabhupada used to say, whether it is first class, second class, or third class, it's all jail, right? The jail may have with the first class prison, second class prison. If you are if for example, an economic offender, you may get a prison where actually you have a TV, some good entertainment, little bit entertainment will be there. But ultimately, prison is a prison, right? So that is why we should not get fascinated by the different what you call allurement of Maya, wherever it is. Okay, but actually there is a lot of interesting information about given here. Okay, any questions are there?
Harishnavu, you were mentioning that the sun illuminates the entire universe, but here we are reading that the heavenly
Yes,
hellish
Prabhu.
planets or these
Yeah,
lokas don't have sun. To
correct.
understand this.
This question you already asked, Prabhu, in the second class. You asked whether no in this place whether will be light. So it is not that, Prabhu. Entire universe means see everything we cannot take in that literal sense, right? So practically most of the universe is illuminated, but this is because it is considered as subterranean. Actually naturally the light cannot reach there.
Then
Okay.
how
But
they'll see the things there, Prabhu, without light?
that is
They'll
what
have the
they
white.
mention. The diamonds actually, see the jewels and gems on the hood of the serpents. Actually, it is told that that is illuminating the planets.
Okay, okay.
See, here it is mentioned of the gems. This line you can see the gems on the head of the best of the great snakes drive away all darkness. So see, everything only we have experience on the Bharatvarsha. See, we can compare our experience only with Bharatvarsha. See, because we have not gone to the other places, we cannot imagine how it will be, right? So, for example, if electricity is not there, no, like some person, let's say, who is completely living in the forest, is like an aborigine. If you tell about, in the dark, actually, in the night, we have so many activities, so many wonderful cities. You'll not believe actually, because probably, if it doesn't have any experience of electricity, for example. So, like that, we may not have experience because whatever experience we have about gems and all, the gems will not shine much actually. In the night, we may not, it may not give much of light, right? So, even in spiritual world also, it is like that. No, Krishna says, no, न तद् भाषयदो सूर्यो न शशांको न पावक यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Krishna says, in my abode, actually, also there is no sun or there is no need of sun or moon for illumination. We cannot understand actually. So there also we have Chintamani and then the Lord's effulgence, Brahmajyoti, Brahman. It is illuminating. So these are the realms which we don't have any experience. But Bhagavatam says that these diamonds and gems on the head of the hood of of this different living entities, actually it is illuminating in all directions. That's what is mentioned. So we have to just accept that, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. See, we can't really with our intelligence. No, many of the things are beyond our. No, it's all it'll go above our head. But actually, we have to understand this is given in the scriptures, and then whoever has experienced, somebody who is much above us, actually, has have information about these things, and then they are passing it to us like that. So with that faith, we should try to understand, Prabhu. But it is not possible to really understand with logic or imagine our current scale of, like, basically we try to compare, we understand the things based on our current understanding, past experience. Just now that example we already discussed about the frog, right? Frog in the well. So his yardstick is also always the well. He has experience only about the well, and with respect to the well, he'll try to measure the Atlantic Ocean, which is not possible. This is just a one aspect of the this thing. But similarly, each and every aspect, actually we have some experience in our, like, for example, Bharatavarsha or wherever we are living, we have that experience, and with respect to that yardstick, we try to assess other things, actually, which we don't have any experience, and then there, it may not work always. Within the material world, I mean, within the earth, we can try to use that, but I know beyond our this realm, we may not be able to understand with the current experience. Okay,
So
so
the one more question I had.
mm,
So here the food and all we grow, right? In the we grow with earth and all. There the food
mm.
is directly available, huh? Because it is a Swarga.
It's not. I don't know, actually, Prabhu. It is not mentioned here. But they mentioned actually the gardens, fruits, and all. That are talking about fruit gardens and things like that. So maybe there should be some means of, like other things also may be available there. This I don't know exactly.
Yeah, because bro, for generally for our experience, enjoyment is like eating, sleeping. This is our enjoyment, right? So
Mm.
drinking. So
Yeah.
there the means of enjoyments are same.
See, eating part should be there definitely. So drinking and all, it is mentioned actually. So different kinds of nectar and different things of they. So for example, you see the next Vitala. No, we'll see that. For example, it is mentioned that vital fluid Ataki river is generated. Okay. Yeah. So basically, there are different kinds of this thing and all available, Prabhu. Explicitly about eating, what exactly they eat, it is not mentioned here, but it will be there in some scriptures.
Okay, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if there is no sun, then there is no day and night. Then
Mm.
how do they calculate the days, Prabhuji? Means after sunrise one day, means after sunset we'll get. Then it completes one day.
Mm.
Then if there is no sunrise or sunset or anything, then how do they calculate the days and all, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
How it
But why should they calculate days actually? So day is our definition in here, no? Why is it necessary to calculate days? Same thing applies in spiritual world also. No, there also we don't have time factor. So it's just told that in spiritual world, actually the time is completely absent. So because we are used to the day and night concept, we want to think in the day and night terms actually. But here, there's no day and night time concept. So they may not be used to. They may not consider the day and night thing. That is why they are telling us they don't have any idea of how the time is passing, and then they are not afraid of death because of it's a different kind of perspective, right?
Oh,
So they don't have to count the date actually. But there is no need of counting the days because it is only our understanding of days and night because we have the sun here.
no, and if their time of end comes, they have to directly go. They will not have any information. Like at least
No,
we have diseases here.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it is not
Age
there.
and disease. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
See, it's mentioned. No, we already saw, right? See, plant do not experience anxiety, disease, wrinkles, gray hair, old age, discoloration of the body, etc., etc. It is not there. So these things are we cannot understand fully, like because we don't have that experience. Okay, so but that's what I just know before this only I explained, right? See, we try to estimate everything based on our understanding and our definition, right? So we have this day and night concept, so we want to see how time passes based on the day and night. But actually, if you never had this idea of day and night, then we will not think in that terms. So it is just our conditioning, right? What we are used to, we'll try to extend that particular same idea further. So maybe my understanding is that those people does it see because they don't even know what is day and night. If you are born there, you will never know what is the day and night, and they don't have any idea about it. So then they don't have to think in that terms.
Only in the earthly planets it is there. Nowhere it is available.
No,
Yes.
the demigods also have day and night. They say, no. See, actually, they say that one day, 6 months is one day there, and even Lord Brahma also has day and night, right? Lord Brahma sleeps, in the night time. Actually, everything is destroyed, the lower planetary system. So
Okay.
wherever the sun's illumination goes, I think this day and night will be there.
Okay. Okay. No,
Yeah.
and also, Prabhu, this in Swarga also they will not come to know about death till their death. That I also have heard. So is it right? Or because there is a day concept is there, no? There also they'll come to know.
They may be, I don't know, they may be knowing that the passage of time, but they will not grow old, or they will not have these problems actually, like
Okay.
disease or old age kind of things they may not have. As
Mhm.
long as they live, they will be healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I am not an authority to tell what is happening in Swarga or no, even in Bila Swarga, because whatever I read, I'm just telling. Unless until somebody has really gone or no have more information, we cannot say what actually is exactly happening. Okay, so let us go on, because these questions are difficult to answer actually, because I will have to speculate, which is not not a good thing to do, especially when we are following the parampara. So we can only repeat what actually we have heard or what you have read from our proper sources. Okay, so yeah, whatever I understood, I can tell. But this what exactly is happening in these planets, I don't have much information. Okay, we'll just read what is there. Okay, okay. So, Mataji, is it okay that day night thing? I'm only able to explain this much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay. So now next is Mount Meru. So immediately. Uh, so we were discussing about till now. No, actually we went little further. So before that we talked about Bhumandala, right? So below Bhumandala we saw that Mount Meru is still extending further down for actually 16,000 yojanas downwards. Okay. After that, after this actually, then the Atala is going to start. Okay, so Atala planet actually, so I think this is just overlapping. Atala is little above that, but they have just mentioned that Mount Meru is extending point, 16 yojanas. Okay, so next below the Bhumandala is Atala, is the first planet. So it is ruled by the demon Bala, the son of Maya Danava. So Maya Danava is in some other planet actually. So he's in Talatala is ruled by Maya, and his son actually Bala is ruling the planet called Atala, who created. So there are some information like no, he created 96 kinds of mystic powers. Some people hold some of these powers even today. Simply by yawning, they created three kinds of women known as Swarini, Kamini, and Pumshach, Pumshali, okay, who induce man to drink Hataka to enjoy with them. So like very kind of fascinating information is there. It is mentioned that like the enjoyment, the power to enjoy, right? That or the means to enjoy now like is thousands of time more than in Earth actually. What is there? Okay, so we have only some little bit information, glimpse. Okay, so that is Atala. Then actually below Atala is Vitala. It is mentioned Lord Shiva. We saw that Lord Shiva is there in various places, right? We already saw. So here also Lord Shiva is actually the presiding deity kind of. The master of gold mines lives with his wife, surrounded by his personal associates, the ghost, for producing progeny. From mixture of their vital fluid, Hataki river is generated. It is heated by Vayu and hardened by Agni to produce Hataka gold, which is worn by the men and women of that place with great admiration. So these are all kind of mind blowing, mind boggling, right? We don't know any idea. So it is told that no, there is so much of gold actually in this planet. Okay, so that is how it is mentioned. Then let us go on. Sutala, we know about Bali Maharaj, right? So Bali Maharaj actually is given this planet called Sutala to rule over, and it is told that no Lord actually in the form of Vaman Dev is actually standing as a gatekeeper for Bali Maharaj, because of he's so pleased with Bali Maharaj because he surrendered everything. Bali Maharaj is known for Atma Nivedanam, right? He surrendered everything. So this planet actually is actually ruled by Bali Maharaj. Praise very verses resides even now. So it is Bali Maharaj is still there worshipping Supreme Lord, who is mostly worth of worship with fearless heart and complete devotion. Okay. So maybe there will be more information about some of these planets, in scriptures right now. But I have not gone deep into that. Actually, it not try to find it. But I think if you will be able to find more, little more information about these planets, maybe some of the planets at least, which are below. Okay. Then next is Taladala, is ruled by Maya Danava, the king of Danavas, lord of the three cities. So this pastime of Tripurari pastime, Lord Shiva has a name called Tripurari. It is related to the pastime connected with the this Maya Danava. Okay, so though his three cities were burned by Shiva, the Shiva by Shiva's grace, Maya, master of the magicians, regained his position, protected by Shiva without fear of Sudarshana. He is worshipped here. Yeah, so this actually, so here this pastimes of Maya Danava, I think is explained somewhere in the scriptures, where actually this Maya Danava was supporting the demons in their fight against Indra, and he created actually. See, Maya Danava is very famous. He's creating very mystical cities and all. He's very highly, lot of mystic power he's having. So he created three cities known as Tripura. right? And for the asuras, and with these cities, asuras were able to defeat the demigods. But then demigods actually goes and complain to Vishnu, and then no, actually Vishnu will protect, give Shiva the power to destroy, and then after that Shiva becomes victorious. Okay, so that pastime is given. So when all the asuras were killed by the initially they were killed actually by the demigods. No, then this Maya Danava has a well kind of thing, which is made of nectar. So he will put all the dead soldiers in this particular nectarian well, and then everybody comes back to life. So like that, lot of mystical power he is having. Okay, so that is what is mentioned in Taladala. Then after that, Mahadala is the abode of many hooded snakes, the descendants of Kadru, headed by Kuhaka, Takshaka, Kalia, and Sushena, who are controlled by anger, addicted to material enjoyment, and bewildered by the association of wives, children, friends, and relatives. They enjoy themselves but constantly live in the fear of Garuda, the king of birds. Rasatala, the abode of Panis, descendants of Diti and Danu, as well as Nivata Kavachas. These are the four classes of people actually. So somewhere, our Sharon Prabhu was asking actually, four classes of people. So actually, it is mentioned that in some of these other planetary systems, also there are different classification of living entities. Many places there are four classification. So I think some more details are available in Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this particular case, the four are given actually, right? So there are four classifications: Nivata Kavachas, Kalayas, Nivata Kavachas, Kalayas, and here, Hiranya Purvasis. So three are there, but some places it is four. They are all enemies of the Devatas and reside in holes like snakes. From birth, they are extremely powerful and cruel, but their strength and pride are always defeated by the Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord, who is auspicious for all planetary system. Then below that is Patala, the residence of leaders of Nagaloka, such as Shanka, Kulika, Mahashanka, Sweta, Dhananjaya, Dhritarashtra. Okay, that is very interesting. And Shankachuda also. Okay, Kambala, Ashwatara, and Devadatta, headed by Vasuki. Okay, they have many hoods and are very envious. The shining jewels fixed on 5, 7, 10, 100 or 1000 hoods light up the darkness of the caves of Padala with their effulgence. Okay, so this is all what is mentioned about the lower planets. Okay, then there is some area actually, the gaps between the 7 nether worlds make a total of 3000 yojanas in each case. So below the Patala, we saw that picture, right? Ananda Dev actually is supporting the Bhumandala, and below that actually is Kurma. Okay, so about the Pitrlok, there is some information given. Pitrs. Okay, so below the 7 planets actually is the Pitrloka. Okay, so Pitrs, so we can read a little bit. Pitrs headed by Agisvatas reside beneath the 7 lower planetary system, desiring virtuous blessing from their family members by great concentration on the Lord. They are the king of Pitrs, Vaivasudha, son of Vaivasudha, Yamaraja. Okay, so this is where Yamaraja's abode. Along with his followers, in obedience to the orders of the Lord, always awards unavoidable punishment for sin according to the action to the living beings who have been brought to this place after death by his servants. By such frightening experience, he makes the jivas turn towards the Lord. Okay, so this is the Pitrloka. Okay, so this is below the 7 planetary system which we mentioned, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Taladala, Rasatala, Mahatala, and Padala, is actually the Pitrloka. Okay, where actually Lord Yamaraj is there. Then, so in the same realm of Pitrloka are also the hellish planets are situated in that realm. Okay, so in Bhagavatam there are 28 hellish planets mentioned, but it is mentioned that there are thousands. Okay, so we can see that hellish planet 28 in number are situated in the intermediate space between the 3 worlds and the Garbhodaka ocean. They lie on the southern side of the universe beneath the 7 lower planetary system and slightly above the water of Garbhodaka ocean. By acting impiously, one achieves different positions in hellish life. Because of the faith of the doer arising from the 3 gunas, different varieties of destinations for action appear. The destinations for performing acts out of desire caused by being less ignorance and are merely transformations of those desires with thousands of varieties known as hells. In the kingdom of Everaj, there are hundreds and thousands of hellish planets. Place of pain for the living entities, among them 28 hells are prominent. Okay, so we actually tomorrow we'll see the hellish planets in detail. What are the different hellish planets? Who will go to which hell? And what are the punishments in these hellish planets? So today we'll not go into that. Okay, so we just complete the entire this cosmic thing. So as we saw, so below actually the Patala, right? The Pitrloka is coming. Pitrs headed by, we saw already, right? Yamaraja, Then next is hellish planets. So we can see that no height from the sun for hellish planet and Pitraloka are same, equal. So which means that they are in the same level. The Pitraloka and hellish planets are in the same kind of level. They are all situated. The hells are situated 99,000 yojanas below the earth in the intermediate space, okay, between before Garbhodaka. Then there is some extra space. The earth extends still further below a depth of 11,000 yojanas below the Patala, and it is rocky in nature. Okay, below that, Sheshanaga, uh, Shruti Mandala, situated on the Lord's Ananda's thousands of hoods, appear just like a white mustard seed. Then below that actually is the Garbhodaka ocean. Okay, and then the end of the universe comes. Okay, so that is the big picture of this planetary system. Now we can have a quick look again, recap kind of thing. This everything is given in a nutshell. Okay, just again. So first is actually region of liberated souls and Vaikuntha planets. See below beyond 250 million yojanas from the sun. That is the. Then after that there is some free outer space. Then we saw Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka. Then actually Swarga will start with the Dhruvaloka, 7 saintly planets. Okay, so actually when we saw the Swarga Loka, we didn't see the planets, right? So these planets are also considered as heavenly planets like Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, etc. Right, and the constellation Moon and Sun. So all these things are considered as heavenly planets, which is part of the Swarga Loka. Then after that, Bhuvarloka, Rahu, Siddha's planets, etc. is there, and Yaksha's planet is there. Then Bhuloka, Bhumandala is there. Then Mount Meru extends little further, but along with that, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahadala, Sadala, Padala starts. Then Pitraloka, hellish planets, remaining Earth, Sheshanag, Garbhodaka ocean, and universal line. Okay, so with that, I think we have come to the end of the main presentation. Okay, so we'll see tomorrow the hellish planets. Okay, so what we have discussed until now, is there any questions? If I know, I can try to answer.
Prabhu, this what is it? Bali Maharaj is there, no? Even Lord is present.
Yes.
Will it consider the type of Vaikuntha there, or any information about it? Or just it is another planet?
No, it is not Vaikunta actually. See, Vaikunta is a spiritual world, right? There is no Kunda, and people will not be under the mode of material nature, right? The three gunas are the Sattva, Rajo, Tamo guna. So the entire material world actually is under the influence of the three modes, and no Vaikunta planets are beyond that. So actually, people have spiritual bodies in Vaikunta, and the Vaikunta means there is no Kunda, right? Why Kunta? Kunda means anxiety. Why means no? There is no anxiety. But
But Prabhu, we are also heard, no, wherever Lord present, that place becomes Vaikuntha. No? Like even in the material world, we have Shweta Dvipa, no?
No, here also in our Bharatvarsha also, Lord is present everywhere, right? He is present in every atom. Andandarastha Paramanu Chayandarastha.
Personally presents, it will become Vaikuntha. That I have heard. So will it applicable here? Just asking.
Not that way actually. It will be like a stretching of the imagination. See, technical in it by technical definition, we cannot call any of the planetary system in the material world as Vaikunta. But actually, conceptually, we can say that actually. Maybe if you go Bhuloka Vaikunta is there, no Tirupati. We can say like that. That is kind of a conceptually we can say that okay, it is also Vaikunta. But in a technical term, Vaikunta actually that we know, right? What is characteristic? By the characteristics we can decide whether it is Vaikunta or not.
And also, Prabhu, this whoever is residing with Bali Maharaj, will they be a fortunate people, or just like they are not like people who are supposed to go to Satal, Vital, Patal? Because Lord is present, they do they need to be fortunate to go there?
Maybe I'm not sure actually, because I don't have any reference, Shastric reference to exactly say that who will go to these planets. I'm not exactly sure, Prabhu.
Okay.
No, Prabhu. They are not something like very fortunate. As per their karma, whoever has to enter the planets, right, they will enter. Now, if you see Brahmaloka, Prabhupada in the purport, in second canto purport, Prabhupada says, Brahmaloka also, three categories of people will enter. Someone by devotional service can enter Brahmaloka. Somebody can do like imperfect Ashtanga Yoga. They might have started Ashtanga Yoga. They were about to reach perfection, but they might have discontinued. So those people also will go to Brahmaloka. And there, the way they enter, the moment they enter, they will, what to say, by naturally they will get attracted to mystic yoga. But Prabhupada says, third category of people who will enter Brahmaloka by their karma, by their excess pious reactions. So when they enter Brahmaloka, the entering of their Brahmaloka will be different from the other two categories. So they will just go and again they will come back. So like that, Sutara planet also, whoever has to that has that pious credits, just they will enter. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, and
See,
that Yatana Sharira, what you were telling, right? So Yatana Sharira will be awarded only when you were about to enter hellish planet. So when on the time of travel, it is Pinda Sharira. Once you go to Yamaloka, you have to give up that Pinda Sharira. Then you have to Yamaraj will offer you Yatana Sharira. Like excess torture, the body can tolerate excess torture, and it also create excess pain. Still, you won't die. So that kind of Sharira, once your punishments are confirmed, then on the first day of your punishment, that body will get offered to you, will be offered to you. So once at the doorstep of that hell, once you are offered with that Yatana Sharira, you can step inside. You will not step inside. They will drag, not you, that soul, whoever has to go to hellish planet. So the Yamadudas will drag and out of that Yatana Sharira, and they will start the punishment one by one.
yeah, thanks, bro. Any other questions? See, one thing I want to ask: this day and night concept is clear to everybody, right? We discussed. So there is one more video. If you want to understand, I can show that video. Or if there are other questions, we can take the questions.
Prabhuji, I have one
Prabhu, I
question.
have a question, Prabhu.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Prabhu.
So this Pitruloka is a hellish planet, is considered as a hellish planet only, right?
No, no, no. Pitruloka is not hellish planet. Hellish planet is below the Pitruloka. So in Pitruloka also, for example, you might have worshipped your Pitrus very nicely, but uh, you may not have faith on Supreme Lord, but you might have worshipped your superiors very nicely because they have given the body, and on their names you might have done lots of pious activities. Like many people will do offer food, right? Annadhanam
Yeah.
they will do on the name
Yeah.
of their elders.
Yes.
So on the name of their elders they will do, and they will acquire as much as credits. So such kind of people and all will get a special birth there in Pitruloka, because on remembrance of your elders you keep increasing your pious credits. Now that pious credits will force you to enter into Pitruloka. In heaven, whatever enjoyment you can go through, the same amount of enjoyment here also you can go through. But only thing is, you will be assigned a post of transferring the credits. So once you become a Pitru, now what is your assignment is, suppose a person offers Pindadhana to his forefathers. Then as a Pitru Loka Vasi, your assignment is you have to take that, convert that Pindadhana Punya and transfer it to that forefather. So when in terms of demigods, it is kind of a lowest job, call center job. We are
Thanks,
also,
Prabhu.
And also, Prabhu, we have heard many times that we are stuck in the Piturloka to get a body. What does it mean to?
no. We are not. The souls are not get stuck in the Pitruloka. See, now the thing is, imagine this way: you have refrigerator, you have fan, even you have switch also. Now everything is there, but unless current is there, how you will function everything, right? You cannot function. Similarly, there are some souls where the souls might have entered hellish planet. Now they might be going through various kinds of punishments. Now their next body, like there is a suitable karma required to start the functioning of their next body. Now that karma itself missing for them. So in that case, what will happen? Garuda Purana explains. Yamaraj says, you are, according to your according to your karma, the next body is ready. But to start with the function of the next body, to enter into the next body, there is one more karma is required, but you don't have that. So do one thing to acquire that. You have to serve sometime. You have to serve me as the Yamadutas. So now Yamaraj will push them to go and bring back the souls. So that way, what happens? Some of the forefathers may get stuck as Yamadutas, because Yamadutas job is, it is also kind of a very lowest job. They will come and always they have to what to say, they have to associate with the sinful people. and once they use that pasha robe, they will pluck out the subtle body. Once they pluck out the subtle body, now the person who has died, their generations, whatever they offer, right? Only that food they have to eat. Yamadutas have to eat. So it is kind of a begging job.
Prabhu, this pind, if their children's or grandchildren doesn't do pindadan, that is the karma they have to get, or what?
Yes, correct. That is the karma they have to get. That is the karma they have to get.
Okay, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, here I have a doubt. Actually, a lot of people, not even 1 in the ratio also, get Pindana. Actually, other than Hindus also, nowadays, so many people are not following these are all
Hmm.
Pinda Pradhana and all. Then remaining entire world is not at all following this Pindadana karma.
Hmm.
Then Yamadutas, in which ratio they'll get the food and all, Prabhuji?
They will eternally suffer in hell, Mataji. Till the time they have to clear that karma, right? They have to keep suffering. There is no other option. That is why Krishna says those who are against him, those who are in demoniac nature, completely in demoniac nature, they will be put into darkest region of this world. So that's why many all these foreign countries, what we are calling Russia, America, Europe. So all these countries, if you see people, they don't even bother about God, because that is how they are having that nature, demonic nature. And because of the demoniac nature, Krishna himself has put into the darkest region, so that once they complete this birth, they will go to hell and they will suffer more till that they clear all the karma, they will suffer more, and then again they will come back. It is, we cannot say it is exact ratio. Like okay, among the 700 crores, 200 crores are not doing Pindadana. So how Yamaraj will handle? So that way it's very difficult to analyze. And sometimes Krishna also knows. Krishna is staying as Paramatma, right? So the Lord also can push the soul into the womb of another mother according to their karma. I don't know whether you got answer or not.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
No. What is your question, guys? Just repeat again.
Actually, we are only actually souls are so many. So we are all
Yeah.
souls on the earth,
Hmm.
but on the earth only in India,
Yeah.
Hindu culture only we are having Pinda Pradhana Samskara.
Correct.
But it's not even 1% or 1% in the earth also
Hmm.
maybe who are following the traditions and all. Then how it will means how the
They
entire
will suffer. They will suffer. Whoever is not undergoing that ceremony, definitely they will suffer. Now,
and
those who are following this Christian Muslims, so that is also approved by Krishna. Now, those who are in the lower modes of nature, at least if they are able to follow that Islam and Christianity, then what will happen? They will go to Pitraloka, they will get purified, and they will take birth again in this material world in the mode of goodness.
here, Prabhuji, we are giving the samskara and all by the mantrocharana.
Yeah.
But in other religions, they were not having any mantrocharana. Then how it receives?
No, they have Mataji. They have. See, their prayers are different. That's it. It is not that the mantras we chant only that is approved. So even in the Bible, whatever prayers written, and as well as in Quran, whatever prayers written, that is also approved by Krishna. In Bhavishya Purana, Krishna himself approves. Lord Vishnu himself approves those prayers.
Okay,
So,
Prabhu.
that's why if you go to Musalman, when they bury the body in the earth, they will chant many mantras in Arabic.
Uh-huh.
They will chant many their prayers in Arabic, and they will offer that body to the unknown God according to them. So what happens if they are really pious? They might have even consumed non-vegetarian also, but still, at least that rules and regulations, if they have piously followed, then what will happen? They may not go through the same sinful activity what a Indian will go through. See, a person who has born in Brahmin family, knowing all the rules and regulations, if
Hmm.
that person consumes some non-vegetarian food, okay, the kind of sin what that Brahmana is going to get, and the kind of sin what a Muslim is going to get is actually different. It is not same. So that level of punishment for a Muslim is little lesser. But what will happen? They will be transferred to Pitraloka, and there they will get purified thoroughly. Then they will get birth in the mode of goodness. Now, suppose if the Christian or Muslim, if they follow 4 regulative principles and then they worship Jesus Christ or Allah, they will be transferred directly to Goloka Vrindavana. They also won't take birth.
Yeah.
See,
I
the
think,
one
yeah,
thing is, Krishna is not limited to ISKCON. Krishna is not subjected to ISKCON. Krishna is not limited to ISKCON. ISKCON is a part in Vaishnavism.
See, and one more thing is that, see, this actually, if you look in the long picture, no, see, in the entire existence of the universe, this Kali Yuga is recently started. So, you know, this Sanatana Dharma was actually, it was told that it was prevailing throughout the, everywhere, throughout the world, Bharatvarsha. So, only just 1500 years before Islam came, right, 2000 before Christianity came. So, it is a small period actually in the entire existence, right? So that way we cannot just say the percentage wise actually. No, it's a small in Brahma's day. It's a very small, just one small glimpse actually. These new religions have come into existence. So as Kali Yuga proceeds, the things actually will deteriorate more and more. So by normal logic, we cannot understand. It's very difficult. Some other things we'll have to speculate. We don't have specific information explicitly mentioned how certain things are done. So if Prabhupada has mentioned or some acharyas have mentioned, we can actually refer to that. Otherwise, it is a little difficult to exactly say what is going to happen in a particular case. But this Sanatana Dharma was prevailing in throughout the entire earth actually. Bharatvarsha, everywhere it was for practice and followed, because actually the descendants of Manu, like the different kings, Bharat Maharaj time, etc. Till Bharat Maharaj time, and even till Yudhishthira Maharaj time, actually it was this was followed throughout the world. And gradually, after recently, it all started deteriorating. I know people start new religions came and things like that. So yeah, so we have to look from a bigger perspective, right? So and have faith in the scriptures, because logically it is difficult to understand exactly. If you extend our normal logic, it's difficult to say. Okay, Vijay Prabhu had a question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Regarding what is it about Pitraloka or then Pitraloka's question or
No, Prabhuji.
See, one comment, Prabhu. One comment. Whatever written about these planetary systems, just theoretically only we can understand. Even we cannot visualize also.
Right.
See, if somebody tells about Disneyland, we can visualize, because we might have seen somewhere in movies, and the moment a person tells about Disneyland, Disney World, we can visualize. But in case of these planets, we don't have any idea. In many Janmas, we might have taken birth there. But in this birth, before coming out from the mother womb, Krishna has made forgotten everything. So even we cannot visualize also how it would be. Just we can theoretically accept only. That's it.
Correct. Yes, bro. So what I will do, see, I'm this slide which I shown, I will share with all of you by WhatsApp in a study group, and so that slide I'll put all the links, whatever links I have referred. So there are much more information available. So many videos. Though this actually the slide which we went through this PDF document, right, which is created by Bhaktivedanta Vidyapeeth. So they have done a lot of extensive research. Okay, so they have a series of lectures actually. There are some 40-50 videos are there, which actually they are talking, everything right from the beginning of creation, very detailed. So I have just given some glimpse actually what I've taken. So if somebody is interested in going more deep, they can go through those videos. So this is one Bharati Vidyapeeth, Bhaktivedanta Vidyapeeth. Then Danvir Goswami Maharaj actually also has a website. His many videos are available. Then we have Satabuddha Prabhu. He has done. He's one of the first person who has done a lot of research on this topic. So basically, what has happened is that just to summarize the thing. See, the Vedic cosmology has given in the Puranas and Bhagavatam. Actually, there are a lot of information available about the Vedic cosmology. I mean, how the universe is, right? But actually, it doesn't give a very precise, like in a sense, picture of how exactly where it is and things like that. Though it has given measurements and things like that, but it's like a jigsaw puzzle, right? So there are many things that blocks are available, but some blocks there are missing blocks here and there. One of the things, for example, to explain the phenomenon of day and night. So if you look at the general description, the Bharatvarsha is considered as a flat area, right? But actually, according to the modern astronomy, or if you want to explain the phenomenon of day and night, the flat Earth actually it is difficult. So devotees who have done research actually they have tried to come to somewhere in between. So certain areas of some approximations have been done. So unless until the Supreme Lord really reveals, right, this information, we cannot understand it fully. Okay, so we have to understand all these things with actually kind of an approximate information, right? But whatever is given in the scriptures, we have to take it as such. But then we are not, somehow there are some missing links somewhere. Everything is not perfectly fitting. Okay, so that we have to just understand. But whatever is given is perfect. They have given all the information, like the exact measurements, the diameter, the distance, etc. is given. But some certain things we are not able to fully imagine or understand completely. So so these devotees who have done research, they are trying to bridge the gap as much as possible. And then some places they have done some approximations, and some places they have tried to come up with some information where it is lacking information. They come up with some kind of little bit small theories, for example, right? So these are the main work. And then there is also, we saw the work by some Madhavacharya, some devotees in Madhava Sampradaya, GR, some in 15th century. Okay, so he has done some work actually. It's called Bhuloga Varnana. So that is also has provided a lot of information. So many of the information are consistent, but certain things actually there are some small gaps here and there, which actually they're trying to bridge. So from that perspective, we have to understand. So but as we discussed in the beginning of the session, right? Unless and until the Lord reveals, right? Just like the Lord cannot be, by whatever endeavor we try to do, whatever tapasya, whatever we do, we cannot make the Lord visible in front of us, or we cannot understand the absolute truth easily, right? So it is only when the Lord really Lord reveals us, we can understand. So similarly, these are also things like that. Okay, and another thing we discussed in the beginning is that it is not necessary to know the geographical structure of the universe to go back to Krishna. It is not necessary, but naturally we have curiosity, right? Everybody is what you call fascinated by the night sky, right? Every child, every adult, what is happening in this. So because of that, everybody has a curiosity, and then that is why Bhagavatam actually one of the reasons for talking about this. Another reason is actually it is talking about devotees in different planetary system, so that we can understand that devotees are there everywhere, how different devotees at different planetary system are serving the Lord, etc. So but otherwise actually there is some limit actually on how much we can understand about these things. Okay. Yeah, so with that, I would like to close. But actually, anybody has some questions, we can take some more. And tomorrow we'll discuss about hellish planets.
I think Vijay Prabhu has
Yes,
question.
Prabhuji, my question is, Lord Shiva resides in Vitala planet, right?
Mm.
So the Mount Kailash is there in Vitala planet, Prabhuji, or Sadashiva only considered as a Mount Kailash?
That we discussed, Prabhu. When I talked about Vitala, also I told, no, Prabhu. So Lord Shiva is present in various places, Prabhu. We also saw it in, actually, he's in the Ilavrita Varsha, right? The middle of Jambudip also, Lord Shiva is actually there, right? And we saw, no, it is mentioned that in Kailash, right? Which actually is the division between, Jambu, sorry, Bharat Varsha and what is the Varsha on top? I don't remember. Ilavrita Varsha, I think, no, some more Varsha is there. So there actually Mount Kailash and this Himalaya, on there also Lord Shiva is about is there. Okay, so like that, Lord Shivas, there are different manifestations, and then in the Sadashiva Loga also Lord Shiva is there. So these are different manifestations of Lord Shiva. So similarly, Brahma also we saw, right? Lord Brahma's abode is there in actually on the on the Sumeru. So this we have to understand that these are different expansions of Lord Shiva. Is that okay, Vijay Prabhu?
It is like permanent address and residential address, Prabhu. I have a house in my hometown as well as I have apartment in my Bangalore. So wherever I can go, I can stay.
But Lord Shiva, I think, can be simultaneously present, I think, in different places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them have this kind of powers actually. Yes.
Thank
See,
you.
Lord Shiva, as I told you, Vijay Prabhu, na, so basically we have to understand everything as a part of Supreme Lord. Like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, all demigods, even under planetary system, even every atom. Lord actually is, everything is coming from Supreme Lord. They are different. Is actually vibhudis are to present in different action. That's all. So as these empowered souls actually have much more power, and then ordinary living entities have very limited power. That we have seen that the percentage wise it is explained. So everything, if you see in relation with the Supreme Lord, then I think we'll not have much difficulty to accept the things.
Why are you asking this question, Prabhuji? In Ramayana, Ravana went to Kailash, right? So that's what I got confusion. He went to Sadashivaloka or he went to
No, I think he
Vitala?
cannot go to Sadashiva Lok. I don't think he'll be able to go because it is beyond the material universe, right? So it will be in the Kailash actually, which is there
Within
on
the
the Himalaya. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so another thing is mentioned. See, according to the Bhugola Varna, whatever we are seeing in Bhagavatam, this Kailash, which is mentioned right in the Himalaya, it is like very. See, we discussed in some previous class, right? According to our understanding, Himalaya is actually 8 kilometers. But here it is thousands of yojanas is mentioned actually. So it is again Sadabuddha Prabhu and other devotees are saying that no, it is all the concept of this realm they are using actually. Invisible realms are there, which actually we don't have access. We cannot see that. We only see a part of that, like that they mentioned.
Okay.
I have one question for yesterday's class.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, actually, you told us sun is above the like Earth planet, right? Like
Yes.
so when it is the sunset is coming, so the Earth is however flat, no, so it will give the light full, no. Why? How it's coming half?
Earth is not flat. No, see what we discussed is that Earth is a globe. With that only we saw, right? We yesterday saw the discussion. It was a globe. So maybe we can just quickly see this video if you want.
To explain all these four phenomena, we'll take planet Earth as the reference point, which is in the center of the Bhumandala. And specifically in planet Earth, we'll take India as a reference. With respect to India, we'll try to describe all these four phenomena. So now let us start with how day and night is happening. So for India, in this, according to this model, so when sun is in this side, this direction, this is like east to the India, and this direction is like west to the India. And when sun comes in this position, this is like noon for India. When sun goes behind, this is like midnight for India. So now the position where sun is there, this is like sunrise. We can see in the planet Earth, we can take four reference points. One is India this side, and Japan.
So is it so, Prabhu, Ashok Prabhu? It is like no. So for explaining the phenomena, the devotees actually have reconciled. Actually, they are actually explaining that Earth is a sphere, which is situated in the Jambudip. In the bottom side of southern side of Jambudip in Bharatavarsha, actually this Bharatavarsha is represented as a globe. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So here actually there are different controversies, Prabhu. So I just explained to you the what is the most commonly accepted thing. Okay. So if somebody is interested to go into deep, then there are so many different other theories and different versions etc. available. So this is how most of the devotees have explained. So in this scenario, if the globe Earth, we can explain easily the the concept of day and night, right? That we already saw already, right? So which Prabhu is already explaining. So this video you can go. I'll share the link. You can go in more detail, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. Initially, first day we have discussed. No, it's like a terrace, so it's going like, in this way. So
the different islands are everything is mentioned as flat, Prabhu. So only the Jambudip is actually it is represented as a globe. Yeah, it is there also in this also. It is mentioned somewhere. Somebody has anybody has a question? So in this work by yeah here.
Hare
So
Krishna Prabhu, these other like Ilavrita Varsha and other things, they are outside the earth on the like earth-like globes, or how is it? Because
Yes,
now we are calling this earth as a Bharata Varsha.
Yes.
So other Varshas like Ilavrita Varsha and other things, for that they are like earth-like planets outside. How do
they are not planet actually, Prabhu. See, only Earth is mentioned as a globe, and other everything else is flat.
But they are outside the earth, isn't it? Ilavrita Varsha and other
Clearly,
things.
Prabhu. Yes. See, this is how it is, na Prabhu. See, one more. We have to look at other. See, we are only talking about Jambudip now. This is the Jambudip, which is in the middle of the entire thing. Okay.
Yes.
This is clear. 1 second. I'll just show you. The big picture is like this. So this is the big picture. Bhumandala. Okay. This is one. No, this is the one. Yes. See, this one. This is the big picture of the Bhumandala. The entire Bhumandala is like this from the top, and then the middle is the Jambudip, right? This you remember?
Yes. Yes.
So the entire thing is a flat. Everything is flat. Okay. So in the middle, actually, Jambudip is there. So when we come to Jambudip, we are here actually. This is Jambudip. So in the Jambudip, it is mentioned like this that yeah, like this is the middle actually is Ilavrita Varsha. Then below that is Hari Varsha and the Kimpurusha Varsha and Bharat Varsha. So the Himalaya mountain actually is mentioned that 60,000 yojanas. It is high. That is separating the Bharat Varsha from the Kimpurusha Varsha. Okay. So this Bharat Varsha, in this Bharat Varsha, this part actually, which is a small kind of a pie, right? Actually, this is actually represented as in the form of a globe to explain this phenomenon of day and night. So remaining everything is flat. So maybe somebody in Kimpurusha Varsha, no, they when they want to explain this, when they take this class in Kimpurusha Varsha, they may show Kimpurusha Varsha as a globe. We don't know, but that is how actually we have to understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Because these Kimpurusha Varsha, these all Varshas are not part of Earth. So they're
No.
outside the yet somewhere it should be, isn't it? That's what.
Yeah, this is what actually, see, this separation is actually used by the mountain. The Himalaya actually separating the two Varshas, you know, and then there is no way to cross this mountain actually for the living entities to go beyond that.
Yeah, yes.
So by that way they are separated actually. Kimpurusha Varsha and then Hari Varsha, all these are separated by the huge mountains. That is one, the physically it is separated by mountain, and also maybe there is some kind of mystical things actually, you know, in the sense the accessibility wise, even if you can physically call, so the realm wise actually you will not be able to enter that realm. You will not be able to access. Just like Prabhupada used to say, no, like moon actually they are saying that they are going to moon, but Prabhupada was saying that no, they may be misguided actually. They may live in a different place. They may go to Rahu, or even if they go to moon also, they will not be able to see what is the real realm actually. They will be, no, they will be, because those people are much more advanced. They can actually make it invisible to the, you know, by definition they will not, the people cannot see what is there. So same way we have to understand this is something mystical and something physical. Everything is not purely physical. Like that we have to understand, Prabhu.
Okay, very thanks, Prabhu.
I think, any other questions? Okay, then yeah. So we can discuss further actually, but no, I will also share all the details, which whatever details I'm having, I'll share with the in the group. And somebody's interested, I think they can from there, no, they can go and do more deeper research, and then maybe come back and give another session no, later, which more depth. Okay, then thank you all devotees for attending the session. Tomorrow we'll have the last session. We will talk about the hellish planets.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.